Man, I appreciate you guys, man, helping me promote this, man. Honestly, man, this is a blessing, man. You know what I'm saying? So, it's gonna drop. I want to say I wanted to do it in February, just basically because it's Black History Month. You know what I mean? And so I think it's important that I share my story, man, and some of my experiences, man. So
DMP switch shotgun. Tell us what you talking about.
Tell me fix. It's DMP, baby.
DMP switch shotgun. Tell us what you talking about.
I don't wanna stop, and you know we guarantee to
Episode
give you what
11.
we got.
Right.
I don't wanna stop, and you know we guarantee to give you what we got.
Let's go. Left Coast Kings, and you owe it to yourself.
Oh, what's good, everybody? Left Coast Kings, Thing One, D. Y'all know what it do, man.
What it do, world? My Thingsters out there. Doc Madness, Thing 2. Also known as Madman Smooth, Sweatshop Recordings, Demolition Productions. And you are now tuned into the things of that nature.
And you know you owe it to yourself.
Sponsors.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Turn left onto Tennessee 71 North, Tennessee 71 Scenic North, Tennessee 73 West, Tennessee 73 Scenic West, US 321 South, US 321 Scenic North, US 441 North Parkway, then turn right.
You've arrived at your destination.
Man, what's good, Doc? How you feeling today, bro?
Bro, you know me. I'm blessed, man. A little bit under the weather, but still blessed to be above ground and below it, man, and see my lovely family every day and try to make a change and help our community, bro. How about yourself?
Oh man, same here. Ain't no complaints, ain't nobody listening. Especially if it ain't nothing I can do my damn self, right? If I can't get off my shoulders and handle it, I can't complain about it, right? So man, it's a blessing, like you said. It's a sunny day today. So we gonna after we wrap this show up, man, I'm gonna go out there and go experience some things of that nature and hit the beach or something, while I can. Yeah. But man, what we got on the show today?
Bro, we bringing somebody back, man. Actually, Dr. Anthony Rice, bro. He's coming back this time on a solo trip, beating his chest like he should, man. Standing tall, man. He's got a book dropping. I remember he spoke about that on the panel with us. And definitely it's coming out in play right now. So, bro, Color of Leadership. I know he's gonna come on here and talk to us about that. And bro, give us some blessings, bro.
That's what's up. Yeah, man. It was a pleasure to have this man come back. I was excited when we got off the first one and he was like, "Hey, I want to come back." I was like, "Bro, you welcome anytime. It's all good." Like, this man he's been through a lot, he's seen a lot, he's done a lot, and he cares about the youth, cares about his people, and he just, he's one of those ones that's trying to make the world a better place where he at. You know what I mean? And that's all we could really do as a people, man. You just got to take care of your community and show them that there's more alternatives than what is being put in front of you. Right. So let's take a break, man, and then we're gonna come back with Unfiltered Convos.
You don't know what's in store, but you know what you're here for. Come along, we don't need attention, I swear.
Wait for it. Yup, I really don't need it. Words that I speak define when repeated. Sit on your brain, designed to heat seek it. Kim Jong-un of the game, so be it. Press play, I hit him and let the rhythm get him. When the words tap dance, a grown man spitting venom into one sick thing. I'm on a sick trip and take it back to the miss. same days and get the grave digging. Just body the beat. Whoa, toe tag dick, you're a victim of the ghost. Sub beast in, we're blowing on that choke. Check out my melody, your boys no joke. Like, I got this moving all the objects. On my way to the top, you dudes chop blocking. Bounce back games on points and no stopping. I smell fear when these boots come stomping.
You don't know
Take this off,
what's in store,
stand in arms.
but you know what you're here for.
B-boys,
Come along,
soldiers,
we don't need attention. I said,
present arms. Like I said, I don't need it. One finger salute and keep feasting. 808 match the flow and keep beating. Pole position while you drafting my team in. It's the reason my name is on the dotted line. And my label is dangling from the neckline. Not the big homie, so miss me with them rap lines. Truly independent from the vocals to the bass lines. And one cooking with that hot grease. On some, the way I keep them off me. And bloody the way I keep it saucy. Been original while these dudes are carbon copies. But I get it, they can't maneuver with it. I read the small print and fluff and all the bullshit. Salute to the real, line them up for the full blitz. Kamikaze bulls, I fatigues, and some scuff kicks.
you don't know
Take this off,
what's in store,
stand in arms.
but you know what you're here for.
B-boys,
Come along,
soldiers,
we don't need attention. I said,
present arms.
you don't know what's in store, but you know what you're here for.
B-boys,
Come along,
soldiers,
we don't need attention. I said,
Hello, how you doing?
I don't do handshakes.
Oh, that's actually what about a hug?
Okay,
All right. Oh, you got you smelling all good. I like that.
thank you.
Well, what you got planned for the evening?
That's up to you.
Let's go grab some drinks and get to know each other a little bit more.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, y'all. As always, hopefully that you guys are loving the little ads and visuals that we bring to you during these breaks. Don't forget, if you got something you want us to share as well, hit the comments. Let us know. Follow us. We get all the information in the description, so that way you can contact us that way. But without further ado, D, go ahead and take it away, man. Lead us into Unfiltered Combos.
Oh, for sure. Man, today on Unfiltered Convos, we have the one and only Dr. Anthony Rice. So let's get into it. Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to Unfiltered Convos. Thing 1 and Thing 2 here, along with the incredible Dr. Anthony Rice. We're going to be talking. We've had it before. For those of you that don't remember, he was on our education panel. Man, he is back. He's got an amazing story to tell. He's got a book that's coming out, The Color of Leadership. So let's get into it, man. How you doing today, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Again, like I said, man, I just want to say thank you guys, man, for allowing me this platform to talk and kind of share my story on my book that's coming out. It should drop. I want to say it's going to drop this month. Right now, we're just getting a little bit of the particulars together in terms of the landscape of the book, and so, I mean, it's gonna be powerful, man. Because at the end of the day, I haven't really seen a book like this that really kind of shares the holistic experiences and the underrepresentation of African American men in education and in leadership positions in general. So, within the book, it kind of talks about I kind of share my story in terms of just my academic experience, in terms of like almost just being the only one in the room. And I know, me and you, Deshaun, we go way back because we went to elementary school together. And, there's a lot of things that we kind of seen that, as young men, as kids, I mean, we didn't really understand, right, until we became adults. Yep. And in this educational world, man, and what we're looking at and what we're seeing now, we're seeing a disproportion of African American boys specifically in special education as well. And then, African American boys are being disciplined at a higher magnitude than other races. And so for me, it gave me an opportunity to kind of share my experience after I did my doctoral dissertation. And that was the underrepresentation of African American men in leadership. And so I kind of correlated this book in terms of not just leadership in education, but leadership in professional sports as well. So if you look at NFL, right? If you look at the NFL landscape of NFL, I mean, you'll see a lot of now, because that Rooney Rule, that they have to interview more Black individuals, right? And so, I mean, and it was weird because, after this book, a lot of my story in the book talks about the the lack of representation of African American men in NFL as well. And then you'll see the majority of the people that they serve are African American men, right? And so the owners, white males, predominantly white males. And so then you'll see, and we talk about it, and like, one of my mentors is Troy Vincent, who I played with him with the Philadelphia Eagles, who is now the vice president of NFLPA. And so he does a really good job of creating awareness around the underrepresentation of head coaches in the in NFL. And so he's doing some really, really good work in terms of, just creating that awareness. And I don't know if you guys have seen this year, you'll see a little more of an uptick of African American male coaches in NFL. I know they just hired one in Atlanta,
Right. Yeah.
which is good. And you start seeing this, and I think that the conversation is really being had, but we really haven't had an opportunity ever, or a real platform to kind of talk about it. And I know they created a platform from the NFL perspective, but now you talk about the educational perspective. There's not a real platform for us to where we can kind of share our experiences. So my book entails a lot of just not only my experiences, but it talks about representation matters, especially in our school systems, because again, like I said prior, you'll see a lot of our students of color, especially Black boys, being suspended more than any other race in the educational realm. And so it's just unfortunate for me. I thought it was very important for me to kind of share this experience and share this story so that everyone has an opportunity to really see and understand the perspective of African American men and the lack of representation that we share in this educational realm.
Yeah, that's what's up. So let's take this back to, we're gonna go back to let's go back to your college days, man. Just give us a brief little summary of your college and what led you to the pros. And for those of you that don't know my man, he was one of the ones that made it out the city to the pros, bro. Like that was I mean, I was so damn excited. I was like, man, I'm glad like somebody had to go. Like shit, we had because like high school, we had a amazingly talented team with horrible coaches.
Yeah, man.
Like,
wow.
That right there, we can even talk about that. That was one thing that I looked at and I was like, why we got all these dudes on this team that's hella good?
Yeah.
Our coaches don't have us in the right positions, in the right nothing. Their egos were too big. And I'm like, bro, I just want to, and I remember, and we remember Narcisse and how he was. And I told him one time, I was like, man, look, I just want to win, bro. Like, you doing this wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay. And then when he got fired and we graduated, you know what he told me? He said, I wish I had 50 of you instead of who I had on the team. I was like, because I want to win. I don't care about that. I don't even care about no stats. I don't care about looking cute. I just want to knock somebody's head off so we could win. That was it. So, and then I had to realize as well is I was talking to Ron Davis about a week ago, right? And he said, I told him, I said, bro, we got to remember that a lot of us that played sports in high school, especially in the inner cities, a lot of them that played, they played just so they didn't have to be at home, bro, or have to deal with whatever was going on at home. Like they rather be So yeah, they not taking it as serious as others because they're like, shit, this better than being at home. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this. So, I mean, that had a lot to do with it, and as well as like we didn't have the parental support. Our parents worked,
Yeah.
bro. Like
Yeah.
we didn't have that. You was lucky if you looked in the stands and saw your parents.
Yeah.
At one game, let alone all of them. You know what I mean?
You telling the truth, man. Because remember during that time, Deshaun, I want to say, especially when we in our freshman year of high school, man, there was just so much turmoil that was going on in the city, man. In terms of just the Black Hispanic, just that type of that friction,
tension.
Tension and that friction. You know what I'm saying? And I think we saw it, but we didn't really see it because a lot of us had grew up together, right? Going from elementary school to middle school to high school, right? And then you start feeling it once we got to high school because a lot of us, you had students coming from different other parts of the city. And other parts of the city, and then you got dudes who don't like each other. We dealing with things like that. We dealing with cholos. We got Trey 5-7. You got all these other gangs.
Southside Village, yeah. We AMC, all them fools.
And then we when we're coming from a aspect of we, like you said, our parents working, but at the same time, and at least our parents were doing a really good job in terms of just that disciplinary portion of it, to where they were trying to guide us in a different direction. And so the things that we saw and the influences that we saw, unfortunately, some of us like kind of moved towards that. And a lot of us kind of said, okay, I'm gonna play sports, like you said, so I can just kind of just manage myself, not be home, be around some dudes be around some people that, we all had we wanted the same thing in terms of winning and that camaraderie, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it was important, man, because a household that I live in was very, very dysfunctional, man, in terms of just alcoholism, abuse and things like that, man. And so for me, I just wanted to get myself out of that somehow, some way, so that I was able to at least make something out of my life, right? And so I think for the most part, because I had an opportunity to get an ASB, and I was playing sports and doing things like that, and I think we all did that. And I think for me, it was important. And I remember my freshman year, and I think this was a pivotal moment for me. Is that I got a letter from USC my freshman year. And I think that just kind of changed my whole perspective of just like what I needed to do in order for me to go to college, right? Because as an athlete, we're good athletes, man. But at the same time, we dealing with coaches, man, that wasn't trying to promote all his kids and all the athletes that he had on the team. Because he should have been making sure that all of us, regardless of where it was, had an opportunity to go play collegiate sports, right? I don't care
somewhere
if it was Division 2, if it was Division 3. I don't care if it was SWAC. I don't care what it was, because we were all good enough and academically ready to go do that. But I think he just focused on the people that he felt were really actually gonna get there, right? And so I think he did us a disservice, not only as a coach, but as a man, because man, he should have did more for the young men that looked like him, because he had the resources to do it. You know what I mean? He had the resources to do it. And so fortunately, I was able to go to Washington State. I was also a baseball. I also played baseball. I could have either way. I could have went baseball or I could have went football. But I didn't take all my visits, which I should have, and I wish I had somebody to mentor me, to tell me, look, man, take all your visits so that you can make a better judgment of where you really want to go to school. So it's just to see if it's a really good fit or not.
Where you belong,
where you belong, right? And so when I got to Washington State, man, it was like a culture shock, right? It was a straight up culture shock, because, you're dealing, you're with, it's first of all, it's cold. You're coming from Southern California to Pullman, Washington, which is, freezing cold. Not a lot of people that look like you. It's not like Pomona. You know, you ain't dealing with things like that. You just, you know, you're just there to play football, right? And so that you get there, and as a true freshman, I mean, I started as a true freshman, man. But I just the mentality and the maturity that I didn't have forced me to say, you know what, I don't want to be here. You know what I mean? And so I even reached out to Narcisse just to say, hey, look, is it anywhere possible, anywhere else I can go? And even my coach at the time, who Coach Price, was like, man, don't leave. You know, you have a great future here at Washington State, man. But my mind as an 18-year-old was already made up, man. And unfortunately, as I became older and I became an adult, I realized the mistakes that I made from leaving that school, man, because I didn't have that person to say, look, man, you need to stay your butt right here and finish this out, because I don't know what my trajectory would have been if I would have stayed there. I know I would have got drafted a lot higher than I did, going from Washington State to the University of Laverne. But you know, when I went from Washington State, I went straight to Cal State Fullerton to go play baseball. And once I got to Cal State Fullerton, they dropped their football program. And so I had no choice but to stay there and play baseball. But at that same time, during that time, so I was 92, I left in the mid 92, we graduated, got this Washington State, played the whole football season there, went to the Cotton Bowl. I didn't even go to the Cotton Bowl. That's how distraught I was as a kid. I transferred, went to Cal State Fullerton. Cal State Fullerton, man, I was like lost. As a kid, man, I was lost because I don't even remember like going to school. And so I remember one of the baseball coaches at Laverne, at Gary, Coach
Estrada.
Coach Estrada. Coach Estrada was like, hey, why don't you go over and go to have you ever heard of Laverne? And you know, it's a trip to Sean. I mean, we grew up in Pomona all our life, man. I never even heard of the University of Laverne.
Me either, bro. I didn't hear about it till I went there, man. I want to say 10th grade or 11th grade. I was in this college outreach program, right? And so they took us there like on a tour, but I was like, dang, this is a nice campus. I didn't know it looked like, you know, I didn't know this was even that close to us. Like it's like 30 minutes. And I'm like, man, nobody told us about these schools. Matter of fact, I got a kid. I got to give a shout out real quick to my man, Devin Martin. He's one of the kids I used to coach youth league. He's currently one of the top linebackers at UC Laverne.
Okay. See, that's a trip.
And he's a freshman.
And so think about it. So I didn't even know about the University of Laverne, right? And so he's like, well, why don't you go over there and take a visit and go see it? And remember, we went to school with the White brothers, right? So the White brothers.
Keith and Kevin.
Yeah, Keith and Kevin. So at the time, they were at Mount Sac getting ready to transition over to the University of Laverne because they were finished up at Mount Sac with their their AAs. And so we all we went there together for our visit. And I'm like, damn. So I'm looking at this school and I'm like, what is this, man? Like, you see a big old white tent. And I'm like, you know, you're looking at the football field. Ain't nothing compared to being at Washington State, playing in the point at you know, you playing at the Coliseum. Now you playing at a small school that looks like a high school field, right? And so I'm like, what is this? And so I'm like, what is this, man? So my thing is, my mindset completely flipped, man, because you know, my whole dream was to go be an NFL athlete. And so at that time, man, because I was so lost, I had to just figure out, hey, look, I just want to come here and get my degree and just make sure that I get a diploma and I walk out of here being able to either be whatever I'm going to do. Because remember, I wanted to be a dentist. It wasn't a school for dentistry, but my football coach was like, nah, man, you're going to be a PE teacher. And I'm like, a PE teacher? He like, yeah.
Why? Why do they always do that, bro?
Yeah.
They always push us. Oh, you be a PE? Man, come on. You think I'm not smarter than that?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Exactly.
Like, that's like an insult to most people. That's like when they told Malcolm X, oh, y'all good with your hands, be a carpenter. Come on, bro. Like,
yeah, so the way he expressed it, man, he was like, yeah, you could be a PE teacher, you don't have to grade papers, you're gonna be outside all day. And it was appealing, man, because I'm like, for real? Like, man, he said you could play sports all day, and I'm like, all right, cool. and you're gonna make just as much as a teacher does. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm doing this, and so at the same time, I graduate from the University of Laverne. Not only that, and then what was so cool, man, is then I started getting a lot of looks from a lot of NFL teams. And so it was cool, man, because I had all these scouts there looking at my video, looking at film, and they were like, man, we want to take this kid. But I didn't get invited to the combine at in where the Colts were, Indianapolis. I didn't get invited to that. And so I had an agent, and my agent was like, man, so we're gonna have a private workout here at the University of Laverne. And I'm like, all right, cool. And so, I'm thinking it's going to be 2 or 3 teams going to work me out. I'm going to do my 40-yard dash and all the other things that they ask us to do in terms of the, all these tests that they asked us to do. But it was a trip, man, because that day I had 30 teams out there by myself.
Wow.
By myself. And so I did my 40. And I went out there, ran my 40, man, and did all the other drills that I needed to do. And so what was cool was that as soon as the draft came, I didn't you go through the first 4 rounds the first day, so I went the second day. And so I remember Philadelphia calling me and was like, yeah, we want to take you and have you come as an undrafted free agent. And I'm like, okay, I play running back in college and in high school. And so but we want to transition you to a defensive back. And I'm like, okay. But then Jacksonville came in and was like, yeah, we want you to come in as a kick returner, and we won't let you, fool around playing some running back as well. But it was just a matter of who was going to give me more money in terms of the signing bonus. And so I said, you know what, at that time I just had my son. And so it was just one of those things where I had to just make a financial decision on what was best for my family at the time. So I decided to go to Philadelphia, but not realizing how hard the transition was for me playing a running back to playing a defensive back. But I made that transition very, very successfully because I was able to stay there for a few years on the practice squad. But then they sent me to NFL Europe to go over there and play over there for 3 months, and then can't come back and play, and finish my career out with Philadelphia. Then I had an opportunity to go and play arena football, which, I started out at San Jose. And then once I started out at San Jose, I got in the LA team, the franchise opened up, and then I got drafted by them to go play with the LA Avengers. So I played over there for 3.5 years, 4 years, and then I retired, man, because I had to think about what the next steps I was going to do, man. Because like I say, man, NFL means not for long, man. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
what is it like? Would it take you 5 years if you can last 5 to get the benefits or the whatever?
Yeah.
But what is the average, like 3 years?
Yeah, so you got to play, in order for you to get the retirement, I think now it's 3 years, but I had just missed it by that 1 year. And so at the end of the day, in terms of, that retirement piece, I didn't get that portion of it, which was cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when I was playing arena football, that's when I started teaching. And what's so cool, man, I started teaching at Simon's, where we went to school.
Oh shit! So, okay, I didn't know that. That's what's up.
So I was at Simon's. I was a PE teacher for 3 years at Simon's, and it was crazy, man. Because then you just kind of reflecting how we were when we were there as kids, and able to just because, like, again, we didn't see anyone that looked like us in roles of leadership, right? And so during that same time at Simon's, I became a football coach at Diamond Ranch, which was one of our new high schools in Pomona at the time. Okay. And so I was coaching there. I was just coaching DBs, coaching DBs. And then my third year as a PE teacher at Simon's, Darren Knowles, at the time, who was the principal at Simon's, went to HR at the district office. And Emmett Terrell asked me if I wanted to be an athletic director at Diamond Ranch. And so then I said, yeah, let me call me an athletic director. I didn't know really what the role was, but it was an administrative position. And so, I'm young, man. But I still had aspirations to coach, you know what I mean? To want to be a football coach. And so I went over there that year, and I want to say that's back in 2005, where I was the athletic director slash, I was over all the whole athletic program as a young man. And so then I had another opportunity to become a head coach at Colony High School at in Ontario, in Chaffee Joint, Ontario, in Chaffee Joint Union. And so I took that position and I became the head coach. I had an opportunity. I mean, I coached Bobby Wagner. I coached some NFL dudes, man. So,
I know.
yeah, I coached. You know what I mean? So, but what was so exciting about that, man, was because as I shared my experience with you in terms of my college experience, in terms of some of the mistakes that I made as an 18-year-old in leaving there, I had an opportunity to mentor these young men based on my own downfalls as a young athlete, and share my experience with them so that they understand what it takes, the discipline they needed, and some of the things that they needed before they go on to the next level. And so some of the things that I saw for us as young men on football teams with a coach that didn't really do the things that he needed to do, I did that. You know what I mean? So I made sure that regardless of what the kids' aspirations were in terms of, because you got a lot of kids that want to go play Division I football, but not everybody plays Division I football, right? So I made sure that I created access for those student athletes to go play Division II, Division III, Division I, whatever they might want to do. But I wanted to make sure that I gave them that opportunity so that they were able to go and live out their dreams and be successful however they needed to be successful. So my tenure there as a head coach and as a teacher there, I want to say I probably facilitated probably more than 25 to 30 kids going to have an opportunity to go play at the next level, whether it's Division I, II, or III, right? And so as I do that, I'm like, okay, so I want to do something different. You know what I mean? I want to do something different. I think I want to go into administration, because but not only leading students, now I want to lead teachers. I want to lead teachers and kind of give them an opportunity to see things from my lens as an African-American man, so that I can provide some support, some context on what we need to do better in the educational system. And so what was cool was that, after I left Colony, I had an opportunity to go back to Pomona. But the only way I can go back to Pomona was I had to coach at Pomona High School. And so I'm like, damn, and I'm gonna be real with you, man. That was hard because I'm from the South Side.
I know.
We already know.
Yeah, that's my school right there. That's what I was like.
Yeah, that's his school. Yeah, that's.
And I'm like, yeah, this is tough, man, because and I always felt, man, because I always felt that the South Side bros and the North Side bros are just totally different.
Yeah.
We just different, man. We just totally different. We see things differently, right? And so when I got there, the program, they had a lot of athletes. Pomona High always had athletes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always. They had a lot of athletes that just never really had a lot of direction.
Yep.
Right. And so, you got some really good coaches there. You got Coach Rob. Coach Rob was a really, really good coach, man.
Yes,
Coach Rob was a really good coach, man. And so, they had some coaches there, man, but we're dealing with different type of kids these days, right? These kids aren't very they're resilient, but in terms of discipline, they don't have a lot of discipline. And so for me, coming from Colony and having a lot of success there, because those kids were able to kind of get the stuff that we were saying and soak it up, right? And so it was different going over to Pomona, because I had to bring kids with me so that they can show them,
right,
this is what it takes if you guys want to win, or if you guys want to do some really good things, this is what it takes. And so I brought my coaching staff. We go over there. I think I taught PE for a year, and then I decided, okay, I'm gonna go into being a TOSA and working on discipline. And so I was at a TOSA, teacher on assignment, trying to get my feel into being an administrator. I turned my existing team over to one of my coaches that I had at Colony, and they ended up winning CIF. Man, these dudes were beast. And we brought some of Snoop Dogg's kids. Because at that time we had Snoop's kids, and Snoop's kids were real deal, man. He always had a team, but these kids knew how to win. They were a little flashy, but they knew how to win. You know what I mean? So I did that, brought that in, and then I just my administrative career just kind of just took off, man, because I became a dean of discipline. Just being able to work with kids. Before I had got that position, I want to say we had over like 160 suspensions, man. And the kids that were getting suspended on a daily was kids that looked like us and kids of color. And so my goal was to make sure I was working with our peer counseling department and making sure that we decreased the level of suspensions that we had. And so I remember the principal came in and was like, man, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, man, I went to one of my principal meetings, and they're looking at our data. And, throughout the half of the semester, it only shows that we have 3 suspensions. And I said, well, it's not about suspensions. It's about being restorative and working with our students so that they have an opportunity to understand, not everything is always punitive. You know what I mean? Not everything is always punitive. And we got to work on being more restorative so these students, they're not falling through the cracks of that school to prison pipeline, right? And so a lot of our kids, that's what happens to them. They fall in that crack of that school to prison pipeline because they've been suspended. And if you go look at data for African American male students from elementary to high school, how many times they've been suspended, man, that it'll blow you away. You know what I mean? Based on just some of the suspensions, and they're not even real violations, man. Just it could be, disrupting the class, things like that. Just not even putting resources and things together for students to have an opportunity. So for me, getting into this seat was important, right? Getting into this seat was important because I think that I had an opportunity to really change the trajectory for students. Not only change the trajectory for students, but change the trajectory for the system, so that we're not always looking at being punitive with our students of color, so that they have an opportunity to be successful in the classroom. So then I had an opportunity. I went to Gary. So I was an assistant principal at Gary where I graduated. And so I was there for about a year, a year and a half. And so I was there. I did the master schedule, which is which is a more curriculum based. And so I had to really build my capacity, man, in terms of being an administrator. And so then I got an opportunity to become a principal in Riverside. And then I became a principal at an alt-ed school for students who are struggling academically with their credits. And so we came in, man, built some systems there. And the systems that we built, man, and this is all just based on some of the things that I saw as a kid and as a young man, and some of the things I felt that I needed. If I was a kid that was struggling in school, what would I need? And so what I did for my school was I created an auto shop. So I brought in all these CTE programs for these students, and just so that I can engage them in school. So I brought in CTE programs. I brought in auto shop. I brought in, nursing programs for these students so that they had a welding. I brought in all these programs so these kids, man, can see that, look, I know I wasn't successful in school, man, but not every kid is going to go to college, and you're going to have an opportunity to do something
right
with your career, with something. And so we just created this whole system, man, that helps students, right? And so during that time, I said, you know what, I want to go and get my doctorate, because nobody in my family has a doctorate, man. And I just, I want to leave a legacy for my kids, man, so that they understand the importance of education and how much education meant to me, and where education, how it kind of molded me into the human that I am today in terms of that leadership and being a good leader. And so I took all those aspects and those concepts of my coaching career, my leadership, opportunities that I had, and kind of just intertwined all that into being just the best leader that I can be. And so it was crazy, because when we're trying to create our dissertation topic, they said you need to have a dissertation topic that you're going to be passionate about, and that's what's going to really have you wanting to do this work. And so I said, you know what, I don't see a lot of people that look like me in education, especially in leadership. I don't see a lot of black principals. I don't see a lot of black directors. I don't see a lot of black teachers. And so I said, okay, I said, well, how's the underrepresentation of African American men in leadership and principal positions? And my instructor was like, man, that is good. She was like, that is good.
That's what's
And
up.
I said, damn. And I said, man. And so after I wrote the dissertation, that's when we had, and it was, I'm gonna say the saving grace, man, was when we got in, not saving grace, when that COVID hit and we had to do a shutdown. It was during the same time I had to write my dissertation, and for me, it gave me nothing but time, because we shut down schools, everything was shut down, and I had nothing but time on my hands to write my dissertation and go to school. So that's pretty much what I did. And after graduating in 2020, I was thinking, like, what am I going to do with this doctoral degree? And I said, you know what? And I was sitting there, I was talking to my son, man. I'm like, man, I think I want to do a podcast. And he was like, what do you mean, Dad? I said, I just need a name of the podcast. And we just start throwing out names. And he's like, man, Dad, why don't you call it The Color of Leadership? And I was like, dude, that is dope. I said, that is dope. And then, I got hooked up with my boy V. You remember V? V went to Ganesha. Coach V, he went to Ganesha. And, he's like a motivational speaker, man. And he went and coached at Boise State. And, right now he's like, man, he goes and speaks at like all these, man, like prominent places, man. I mean, I'm talking about when he goes and speaks, man, they're paying $25,000 just to hear him speak for a couple hours, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, so I was like, man, what am I going to do with this podcast? So as that podcast kind of transformed into what it was, man, I'm just bringing in, it's like, just like you just bringing in good guests, man, to have good conversation. I just started evolving, man. And I said, you know what? I got to write a book, man. I got to share my story, man. I got to leave my legacy for my kids, man, so that, when I'm gone, this book is still going to be here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I started it's still going to be here. So I just started tinkering with it, man. And a couple of friends of mine, they had, wrote books, man. I read them, but I mean, mine speaks to a lot of black men that don't really have have a voice, but haven't had an opportunity to really share their experiences or share their voice. And so, man, for me, it was important for me. My first introduction, man, is called The Only One in the Room. And I say that, and I say that just because when I go places, man, especially when I go to like conferences and and I see, when I'm in the room with all these people, I don't see a lot of us, right? And I only see one of us, but the topics that we're talking about, how building initiatives for students so that African-American students are doing well in the classroom and doing, we talk about suspension rates, but it's so crazy because we talking about all this, but at the end of the day, you have all these educators and these leaders in the room, but they don't have much of the context of it because they're not African American.
Yeah, exactly.
So they don't know how we felt or how we feel or how these students feel when these students have to come to school on a daily basis, not really feeling valued or feeling as if no one sees them, right? But they're making all these initiatives and decisions without real representation of having an African-American man or someone of color in the room who can give them context of really why we're trying to do this work. And so that pretty much is really why I decided to do this book. Just so that, it talks about like representation matters. It talks about recruiting African-American male teachers, building capacity for African-American male educators, the challenges and opportunities that black male educators face, the importance of African-American coaches and leaders breaking stereotypes, because there's so many stereotypes that we have to endure when we walk into a room and we don't look like what
they want us to look like.
Right. And so even policy advocacy and just letting their voices be heard, man. And then for that's where all my book, it entails all that within it. And I think it's going to be very powerful, man, for those who read it. and understanding. And it could be for those, and it's not just for Black men. It's for everybody, so that we have an opportunity to understand the things that we deal with in this educational arena, man. Because it is no joke.
Yep, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a quick break, y'all.
All right.
And we're gonna come back with some more Dr. Rice, and we're gonna keep discussing what we discussing. We'll be right back. Don't blink. All right, y'all. What's happening? Welcome back. We had a little sidebar while y'all was enjoying the visuals, but yeah, like we were saying, like you were saying, and that representation is big, bro.
Yeah.
It's really big. A lot of kids out there that look like us feel like there is no hope. Like, you know, like, okay, like my kid, like not too long ago, he's at the corner store from school. Some kids from a whole nother school hopped out the car on him and whatever. We get a phone call talking about he squared up to somebody. So he's getting suspended. And his mom was like, what the hell did you expect him to do? We don't teach our kid to run. And this what this man said, he should have fled the scene. So I'm sitting here thinking, like, you gonna suspend my kid because he wanted to defend himself? Are you really for real? Yeah. So you rather him get beat up or run so he can keep getting bullied or whatever the case may be? I was like, man, I don't understand that concept. And why is my kid getting suspended for a day? I was like, you might as well keep him at school. This don't even make this is a waste of time. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know, what happened to them other kids? Did they get talked to? Were they disciplined? Did they, you know what I mean? Like, it's a crock of shit. And I'll be damned if my kids get bullied. You better stand up, square up, and whoop somebody's ass. If it's more than one, you better grab one of them, beat the shit out of them. I'm sorry. Yeah. And you can get suspended and go home because I'm not going to let you get bullied. Like, my oldest son had an issue. Yeah. I told him, I said, look, we got 3 strikes rule in this house. I said, first 2 times, you tell the teacher, they don't do nothing. Sorry. I said that 3rd time, that kid put their hands on you, you handle it, walk to the office and say, call my dad. Period. That's the end of the story. And some little kid was picking on my son, and my son was like, look, dude, leave me alone. I'm just here for this after school help. I don't want to be bothered. Yeah. But you know how we are. Instigating. Kids start instigating. So my son, the kid stood up on the lunch table, right? He all in front of my son's face, and my son sitting down. And at this time, he was, you know, he's still a little dude, but he was, you know, he's a lot smaller for his grade compared to some of the other kids. So he just looked up at the kid, he grabbed him by his backpack, slammed him on the table, slung him to the floor, got up and just walked straight to the office. Called my dad. So I show up, I said, what's going on? Well, Mr. Smith, he did exactly what you said. I said, yep. So we're going to suspend him. I said, no, you're not. I said, no, you're not. I said, if you suspend my kid, I'm pulling him out for the rest of the year. I said, because I'm not going to let nobody get bullied. I said, that little boy was warned. Yeah. I said, and you lucky my son didn't put his hands on him. All he did was slam him to the floor and, you know, he didn't hit him. I said, because that little boy, with him being a little dude, he ain't scared to fight nobody. You know what I mean? Because he's, you know what I mean? And I'm like, why is he being suspended? Like, what about that other little kid? Did he get suspended? Oh, well, we can't discuss that. Then if we can't discuss everybody's discipline, I have a small problem with that. I understand that's not my kid, but this little white boy got away with some shit and that ain't right. Then you picking on my kid because he defended himself. Nah, we're not having that. Man, I went through so much with this school because they did not know how to deal with people of color. And I even told them that. I said, look, maybe you should pick up that book Through Brown Eyes. I said, so your educators can learn how to deal with young Black children. I said, you guys just throw them in a box and say they're bad when they're not. And like my kid got yelled at for being on his scooter on school property. But the other little boys, all the little white kids he was with doing the same stuff together, they were doing it together. My son gets his scooter taken away. And then it's like, well, you could come pick it up. I said, nah, you're going to give my son his fucking scooter. And he going to scoot his ass home. Because I said, did you take them other kids' scooters? Well, I looked at my son. I said, she was like, Dad, she just took mine. Yep, give my son his shit back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know.
So trip off this. So, this is my first year over here at the principal at this school. And so, but I was there as an AP prior to me becoming the principal there. So, prior, looking at data, we had the highest suspension rate at this school too for African-American boys being suspended because these kids were off the hook. So, I had my football team, my basketball team, they over there playing around. And so these boys, man, get into almost like a semi-brawl, right? Almost like a semi-brawl. So we bring them up, the first thing they thinking is, man, I'm about to suspend them. I'm like, nah, this is what we getting ready to do. I said, this is what we getting ready to do, man. I said, I'm gonna send you home just for today, but this is what I need you guys to do. I need to talk with each and every one of you guys' families. And we're gonna sit in a room together. We're gonna figure out what got us here.
Mm-hmm.
What got us here for us to be creating that kind of environment for each other. So I brought in some mentors. We had like a restorative day, man, the whole day. I brought families, I brought the parents in, and so it was a trip, man, because women do things different. The moms of these boys do something totally different, right? Because at the end of the day, I brought them in, and so as I brought them in, they're like, well, we just want to come in and figure out what the problem is, what the issue is, because I'm not suspending you, but at the end of the day, we're going to have some restorative circles so we can figure out that this won't happen again. One of the moms like, well, it might happen again. I said, then we need to stop this meeting then. Mm-hmm. I said, we need to stop this meeting then because we're not going to do this again. I'm not doing it again. As the principal, I want to make sure, these kids are fighting over some BS, man. And they fighting because they playing around, bagging on each other. One kid pants a kid. I said, come on, man. That's where that stuff get. That's where it got out of hand. You know what I mean? And so my thing was just being more restorative, man, and saying, no, I'm not going to suspend these kids. Like, I have kids fight. I don't have a lot of kids fight on a daily like it used to be before I got there. But when kids fight, man, I'm like, nah, my first go-to is not to suspend, man. My thing is like, let's figure out why this happened. First of all, why you guys fighting? Let's talk about it. Let's bring it in. Why you guys fighting? Why is this happening? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, all kids want to do is be heard, man. You know what I mean? Because even adults, right? And so even if you look at the judicial system, right? And that in itself, dealing with black men, right? And so the thing of it is, like, man, we, instead of listening to us, and they don't believe us at the time, but you still give them the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? It's always, what they say, you guilty, innocent before proven guilty, but that's the opposite for us. We guilty before we proven innocent, right? And we may
they'll throw you in jail before you even, they'll put you in jail before you even have a trial or anything. I'll eat straight off. Hold on.
And that's crazy, right? And so our kids, man, they know, they see it, they understand. You know what I mean? They see TV, they see, they so exposed to this internet and what's going on social media, man. They see everything. They exposed to so much, man, to the point to where they just like, you know what I mean? They kind of,
they're desensitized.
Yeah, man. And
they're desensitized to a lot of things that you shouldn't be okay with seeing. You know what I mean?
And so I just try to do things different, man. I just try to do things different. And so what I want people to understand is until we do things different, you always gonna continue to keep getting the same results. You know what I mean? And in this educational system, man, we've been doing the same thing for over hundreds of years, man. That's why we're not getting any different results, especially with our African American kids, man. Until we come up with something different and stop throwing money at the same thing. I mean, you always gonna continue to keep getting the same results, man. And I refuse as an educator and as a leader to get the same results, because at the end of the day, I want to win, man. Remember you said that in the beginning, Deshaun. That's all we do. We want to do is win, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
want to win, man. I want to be a part of a winning organization, man, regardless of where it's at. You know,
Yeah.
whether it's in your household, whether it's where you work, whatever you're doing in life, man. I want to be a part of a winning organization, man. And if I'm not doing that, then I feel myself as losing all the time, and I'm not a loser. And so I try to instill that within the kids that I support and the kids that I work with, and even the adults that I work with. You know, because when you look at leadership, man, leadership comes in all different forms, man. Because you have leaders who lead, and you have bosses, right?
Right.
You have people who try to dictate. And that's not my leadership style, man. My leadership style is not dictatorship. It's collaboration. And not only just with adults, I collaborate with students, man, because students allow me the opportunity to grow as an individual, because I learn from them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as I learn from them, it builds my capacity to help me and provide me that support in order for me to be a better leader. You know what I'm saying? And so I try to do that, and I try to model that, and I try to do that on a daily, so that my students see me as somebody that they can have access to, and that they can come to say, hey, Dr. Rice, I need to talk to you. Like yesterday, I had a situation with a student, and I had one of my parent volunteers there kind of monitoring the school with me. And then when she saw these kids coming up to me asking me all these questions, she was like, is this like normal? And I said, yeah. I mean, my kids have access to me every day. I mean, I'm right there. They have access to me. There's nothing more valuable than having access and being visible for a principal. The kids have access to you, and they can come to you at any time and say, Dr. Rice, can you do this? Hey, Dr. Rice, can you help me with this? Dr. Rice, can you help me with that? Yes, I can. That's why I'm there. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, until we get educators that are like that and leaders that are like that, we're going to have these same issues on these campuses at all times. You know what I mean? So
I
my
agree
goal
with you on that. Because we didn't have access to none of our principals unless you was being sent to the office. They didn't. You getting suspended? Yeah, it was never, hey, you doing a good job, or they wasn't out on the campus talking and saying hello and greeting you.
we never seen them.
Never seen them until it was time for something, some disciplinary action.
Yeah.
And then I can remember something in high school. One of the homies that played football with us, I can't remember his name. He was in the lunch line, bro, and got jumped by 3 Mexican dudes, right? And I guess they was claiming 12th Street, whatever.
Yeah.
He minded his own business. They jumped him. We get over there, and he whooped all 3 of their tails, beat the brakes off of them, right? Mm-hmm. Why they handcuffed that boy? Right. I never forget, bro. They handcuffed him and took him to the office. Yeah. And I'm like, these 3 dudes started, like, they jumped him. They started it. Like, and why is he getting in trouble? And then they started making threats. Oh, we gonna, how 12th Street is, like, we gonna get you. And if they say they're gonna get you, half the time them fools, they'll wait 3-5 years to get your ass. They'll get, And I remember Mr. Rockman, because he was head of the like student union and all that stuff. He had a meeting with the principal and then with the boy and his, whatever. And that principal told them, there ain't nothing I could do about that. You gonna have to deal with that on your own. Wait a minute, homie, you got people threatening my life at school. And you can't do nothing, but you could handcuff me and walk me through the quad because I defended myself. And I was like, wow, like, really?
Pretty much, man. That's how it goes. Same situation when at Pomona High, bro. We had a person, they have the individuals that are troublemakers. They come on campuses after school leaves and have like a little class that they take. We had a dude that was like that. It was a Crip, came on to the campus. And one of my homeboys was in center quad rapping, doing what he was doing. They knew each other from a past experience. And he came on campus, started funkery with him. And then, of course, him and his boys that were together, they got in that little class, decided to try to jump him. And we were all there just trying to break things up. The principal comes out, grabs me and my boy by the back of our shirts, pushes us, says, go to my office, see me now, and escorted them back in. And we're like, what the heck? They're not even on. This is school we go to. We go here all the time. You know us, or you should know us. And the situation escalated to the point to where the principal actually was challenging us to fight. Like, he was like, "You're nothing but little and this and that. Just get out of here." Literally, I kid you not, Mr. That was his name, Mr.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I kid you not, bro. Before we even walked off campus, he already had school police, the Pomona PD up there. I went to jail. We went to jail. We went down to the Pomona Police Department in handcuffs, bro. All because we were trying to defend ourselves. We were there to be on campus, and this dude only there taking a class afterwards because he's a troublemaker, and they knew this.
God.
And
it's not even safe. And it's crazy because it's not. I mean, we ain't even a safe place for us, right? I mean, that's what it looked like, right? It's not even
that person was a man of color too, and that's what I was about to say. Like, you being where you're at in the leadership role is one thing, but what you're doing with it is what's really exponential, because you're understanding your role as you go, and you're taking your experiences. You're not one of the ones that get there and then still use it as a hierarchy as to what I rule. My rule is rule. Instead of taking passion and understanding of, okay, like you said, let's have restoration. Let's talk about it. It's not an instant, okay, this equals that. And so that's one of the things I'm taking away from what I'm hearing you speak is like, there need to be a lot more individuals that read that book and listen to you speak and understand that where they're at, they can do a lot more with it instead of just following a system or a cookie cutter type of situation. So
just following the line and doing what you told, or, notice, and I know most educators have to know that this system is shitty, bro. You have to know. I remember all my kids except for the youngest one, all had the same kindergarten teacher. And when my son Hassan, when it was time to go to kindergarten, she told him the year before, because he was at the little field day thing with his brother, right? And so because they're a year and a half apart, so he's like, shoot, I should be at school already, kind of deal. But it's like, you're not ready. And she told him, she was like, Hassan, I was really looking forward to teaching you, but I can't. I'm retiring. She was like, and I was like, what? I'm like you told all my kids. She was like, she looked at me, she said, Mr. Smith, she said, this education system is getting worse, and I cannot sit here and teach this nonsense. She was like, no. She says, my kids, she says, kindergarten needs to play in the mud and play with some dirt. And she said, they're taking away arts and crafts and all this stuff. She was like, reading already. She was like, no, that's my job. She was like, my job is to teach them how to express themselves, experience different things. And she was like, I can't do it with this curriculum, so I'm gonna. She retired, bro. And then the level of teachers, like,
it's system, man,
bro. It's a trip.
It's system, man. And the thing of it is, and I mean, it's not enough of us to kind of share and try to fix it, because it's dominated by predominantly white individuals, right? And so policymakers and things like that who are creating these policies and creating all these initiatives and things like that. But like I said, we keep doing the same things over and over again. That's why things aren't being fixed. And I don't know how you can fix the educational system. So in my book, man, I talk about, which was very powerful. And I don't know if you guys ever read the Willie Lynch letter. Have you ever read the Willie Lynch letter?
I have not.
If you have an opportunity to read it, man.
Not all of it, but I did. I have read.
Yeah, some of it, right? And I had an opportunity. Think about it. I wish I knew this in school, man. I wish I knew about slavery like in school, right? Because I think I would have a better understanding of things, right? And so the Willie Lynch letter, it kind of sheds light on 400 years of slavery. Not only 400 years of slavery, not 400 years of how we've been treated throughout our century, but during that time, he created a system to where it will last for over 400 years, and it still lasts like that, right? And so in the book, it kind of talks about how African Americans we're pent against each other. We're kind of pent against each other, from the light-skinned black to the dark-skinned black. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? In terms of how we don't know how to support each other. Like this right here, is a powerful because we support each other, right? But as we get into the leadership realm, the educational realm, we still doing things within what the Willie Lynch letter says, that how we were going to kind of function as African Americans throughout our career, because we only care about us, right? We only care about us, and we don't want to see each other kind of elevate. We don't want to watch each other elevate. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy, man, because I still see it in today's system, right? So I have an individual who I work with, whom she's a director, and so, but she would be all in my face, man, just like, you so cool, Dr. Rice, you do some really, really good things, but behind my back, she's saying something different, right? But she'd be in my face like, hey, you know, but then she awarding everybody else for some of the things that they not doing, but she won't ever come to me and say, hey, you know, you're doing some really good work on your campus or anything. But I'll always give her accolades on some of the things that she's doing. But at the same time, like, man, when are we gonna start supporting each other? You know what I mean? Instead of tearing each other down behind each other's backs. And so the thing of it is, like, so right now my goal is to create. I'm gonna start creating a male mentoring program for within the districts, and have these things going, man. That way I can kind of share my book and do some of those things, but allow us that opportunity to kind of share our stories and how we're gonna build each other up within this educational system and how we're going to do it together. But the sad thing about it is, when we do things like that together, we start becoming powerful, and that starts scaring people.
Scaring people, right? Yep.
And the sad thing about it is, like, so and it's like, it's crazy because some of our Black educators are afraid to, like, they'll be like, hey, we can't really sit here and talk in a group because people looking at us like, what they talking about?
Yep. What they used to tell us in the mall, 3 is a gang.
The 3 of y'all together as a gang, so you got to separate.
They conniving, right? They getting ready to do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, at the same time, man, it's just, you know, one of these things that people need to be educated, man, and people need to be a little bit more, you know, understanding of really what's going on around them. And I think at the same time, you know, it's my job, and I feel it's my purpose to make sure that I educate people, man, on what we need to do as educators. I think I've been doing this long enough. I've been doing this 25, 26 years in education, man. I think I got a good grasp on what needs to happen and how we need to support our students, support our staff, and building some better systems so that our students have an opportunity to be readily prepared, and successful, man. So
that's awesome. That needs that, because there's a system out there that's designed to stop that from happening. I mean, if you just look, you guys went to Gary, right? You guys were called Gary High School Blue Demons, if I'm correct, right?
Vikings.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, because we were the Red Devils. And I was just seeing how that, and how they just look at that, right? Southside. Just the names right along. It's just like a system that automatically is in place to cause conflict and keep us in against each other. And with the education of what you're talking about, the more we know and more knowledgeable that we become, those things become less a factor in it. It becomes so disdetermined, you know, for how we move or what we see or how we look at the next person by just walking by on the street, right? You go to walk by somebody and you look at them, and it's like, man, like me and D were talking about this the other day about, like, some of the things that we have to break is because if you're at a gas station, somebody's staring at you, now that's a contest, right? It's like, who's going to back up, who's going to look away first? And it's like, why are we that way? And then all it is like, hey, how you doing, man? You need some help? You know what I mean? Like, this is like, wow, that is crazy that we come from that and we carry it with us, and it's just part of our nature because of why that's how we've been trained to kind of like get through life. So the more we can understand that education, and people like yourselves on platforms to talk about it, man, I love to hear that, because we have to break down these stereotypes and barriers.
Yeah, definitely. That's one reason why that's one of the reasons we came up with this show, man. You know, is it to break the barriers, because
the unfiltered convo.
Unfiltered combos. Yeah, it's just, you know, a lot of people when they heard the concept of me and this man doing the show, they minds went way over it. Oh, y'all gonna just be on there smoking weed and talking shit. And I'm like, man, we are so much more than like y'all keep like we are way more than that. Like, is that all you see when you see us? Like, come on. You know what I mean? Yeah, I wear a baseball cap, but this, that, and the other, and got tattoos, but that has nothing to do with my ability to communicate and understand and comprehend what's going on and hold a conversation with people and things of that nature, man. I used to always, because like you said, when you walk into a place and you the only one. Yeah. And you looking around like, I've been in manager situations where I'm the only one. I'm at a district meeting and I don't see nobody look like me. No. And then like one person, I seen this one brother and he looked at me and he ran over to me. He said, hey, we ain't alone. We here together. Because we was the only two men of color. We were the only two people of color, period, regardless of the gender. It was, and we was like, and then you like, damn. This is ridiculous. Like, where's the representation at? You know? And then I get you speak so well. Why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I? Why,
China, it's a trip, man, because I'll be coming swagged up. You know what I mean? I be tripping out because I'm sleeved up. You know what I mean? I'm sleeved up with tattoos, man. You know what I mean? And they're like, man, you the principal? Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And they'd be like, really? Yeah. They're like, yes, I am.
Yes, really.
And so, I am. So, and I've had some parents, man, like really, man, just try to, and sometimes, man, I think a couple years ago, man, I had a parent, his son had got into an altercation with one of his teammates, and his dad, choloed out, tattooed up, younger dude came up to the school and was like, man, well, so what if I had some people come up here and, handle their business on this kid? And I'm like, and then, I got PTSD, man, from way back, man, and that triggered me. And so when I went home, man, I was very disturbed, man. I was very disturbed that he low key threatened me. Mm-hmm. And so I had to call him. I had to call him back in, man. Like, hey, sir, I understand. I really understand your frustration about really what happened to your son, but I don't think you realize you really threatened me. And so I don't know where you think I'm from, but I'm gonna tell you that you don't know who I am. So sometimes you just need to, I know this suit might fool you, but I'm here in front of this school, but I'm just letting you know, sir, sometimes I think you need to be aware of really what you're saying to people.
Who you dealing with? You don't know who you dealing with.
You don't know who you dealing with. You know what I mean? Because you don't know me. And I have a family. You have a family. But at the same time, when you start threatening people, that starts bringing other things. That start bringing other things in people's minds, man. You cannot do that. So I just had to explain to him, like, sir, don't do that. Please don't do that. You know what I mean? So I had to really sit down with him, like, look, you threatened me, man. If I really wanted to, I can go and file a police report, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have a conversation with you and say, sir, come on, man, we ain't on the streets. I'm going to handle the situation that happened with your son, and we're going to deal with it because I'm going to deal with it professionally. But when you came up here and told me what you told me you were taking things to the streets, which means to me, my mind flicks onto something else. You know what I mean? But I just want you to know that, you know what I mean? Just so you're aware that
you ain't the only one.
I ain't no full-fledged nerd.
That's what they don't get. That's what they don't get.
Full-fledged nerd, man, be wearing glasses and wearing a suit. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Go get it twisted.
That's why I tell people, like, man, you don't know where we come from, bro. Like, just because we can be calm and cool and collective and articulate, they act like. I had that with an issue with a dude the other day. I was like, bro, I said, just quit tripping, man. He trying to huff and puff about some damn arrow because I pulled in the wrong way and was nowhere near this dude, like nowhere near him, bro. And he got out the car and said, "Oh, you can't see arrows?" I said, "Bro, stop." I said, "Man, stop." And I'm like hella far from him. I'm like, "Dude, stop." I said, "It's not even worth it." The people in front of me was like, "Who is he yelling at?" I said, "He mad about the arrows on the ground. Don't pay him no mind." He, and my kid, I guess my kid heard him because my wife and him were in the car. And so he hopped out, told dude like talking something, and the guy tells my wife, I'm gonna call the authorities because he get your homie. She said, first off, that's my son, and you need to just shut up, keep it moving. Like, ain't nobody even, bro. He was like 3 cars down from us. So I'm like, why is you even having this hard time? I was like, maybe he mad because he lonely. I don't know, but I'm really nothing. When I said, bro, I got a family, as you can see. I'm gonna go home tonight, by any means necessary. So go get your chicken from the little chicken place, so I can get up. I don't have time for it. You know, I was like, I said, not today, homie. I was like, I don't know what kind of bad day you have, but you're gonna have a worse one if you put your hands on me. Sorry to tell you that. Like, yeah. It's just like, man, I like, okay. I tell people all the time they need to read this book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And this book teaches you when you should give a fuck about anything. What is it important enough? Like some things it's not worth it. You can't give you ain't got that many fucks to give, right? So don't waste them on nonsense. And I think a lot of people, man, you know, and like I said, people see us and they judge you. Oh, he wears a suit, man. Okay. I grew up with him. I already know. Like, ain't too many of us didn't have hands growing up like you. Like, you know. So it's like, come on, like, don't get yourself, don't get me out of character that I choose not to be in. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's what I try. And that's what I try to explain that to kids, man. So you know what I mean? Like, look, because sometimes, man, we don't know. You don't know who you're dealing with, and you don't know what's going to happen when these people, man, out here, man, they not playing anymore. You know what I mean? They not playing, man. And these people not under, man. People are pulling. I mean, they killing folks, man, for just they road raging and all this other
nonsense,
stuff.
bro.
Like
just
man.
Nonsense.
So, and I try to explain this to my kids, man, especially when things happen. Like, you don't know people, man. Stop putting yourself in situations to where it can really get you detrimentally hurt, man. So you guys got to be thinking and be smart, man, because at the same time, you know, they want to get us out of character so that they can say, see, I told you so.
Look at don't know how to act.
He didn't change. He ain't changed. They I don't care. He ain't changed. You know what I mean? Nah, yeah, we have, because I know how to talk. I know how to de-escalate a situation. I know how to de-escalate a situation. I know how to do that. My thing is, I tell kids, look, man, if it's not worth it, just walk away. Your life is more important than anything else than sitting down there putting yourself in jeopardy to where you might get yourself injured, or you may not see another day, man. So you got to be very cognizant of where you at or who you're dealing with, man. And I think for us, we were very wise, man, based on, you know, some of the things we saw and some of the things we dealt with and some of the decisions that we made as younger, you know, teenagers. Because we could have totally went another way, man. Totally.
I mean, we learned from the consequences of what we saw other people we knew get into. When you seeing dudes going down, getting life, double life, triple life, you're like, oh shit, I'm cool with all that, bro. I ain't trying to.
Hey, you know what's so crazy? I mean, I was watching you know, because I watch those murder mystery shows that they kind of talk to you about certain things, and so it was a trip because it was one of them. And they were talking about some dude named Bridges, right? And I said, man, I went to school with this dude, Bridges.
Dion, yeah.
No, it wasn't Dion. It
wasn't
Dion. No, it was another Bridges, man, who this dude triple murder on a family, man. But he was still in prison. But they said, you know, Pomona, California, and I'm like, oh hell. So me and my wife sitting there, like, man, do we know this dude? Probably do. Probably went to school with him, but at the same time, man, if we think about the overall aspect of where we grew up and the black people that we dealt with and the people that grew up with us, man, a lot of them either not doing nothing or they're not here.
They're not here. Yep.
You know what I mean?
True.
So they're either not doing nothing or they're not here. And a small percentage are the ones like yourself, myself, have really opened up and did some things, man, that could really be beneficial, not only to the outside world, but to the community. And so for me, I also, you know, because, you know, I'm in my fraternity, the Omega Psi Phi, man, and our chapter is built throughout is in Pomona, and it's crazy, man, how we like as community leaders, like we don't really have enough students to support because there's not a lot of black people in Pomona no more, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm gonna tell you, in the percentage of students that I think Pomona, in terms of how many black students, it's probably like I asked at Gary, it's probably like out of 1,800 kids or 1,600 kids, it's probably like 12 black kids.
Damn.
Wow.
12 black kids. Pomona High still has the largest population of African American students in the district, but if you start looking at just the numbers, man, it's dwindled, man. So all those moved to Moreno Valley. A lot of them moved to Moreno Valley.
Right.
You know
You're
what I
right.
mean? But yeah, at the same time, there's not a lot, man. And it's hard because we try to get into the schools to try to support the students, and it's not a lot, man. And these kids, man, these kids are afraid. You know,
I bet.
because they outnumber, man. They outnumber.
Yeah, I remember how that used to be, man. You know, we used to have it seemed like every spring there was like a mini riot, blacks against Mexicans for no reason. Homies, friends beat them friends and dumb shit. You know what I mean?
We grew up together, right?
Yeah.
We grew up together. You trying to fight me now?
You know,
We eating lunch together in elementary, man. Middle school, we kicking it. Now high school, you like, man, we gonna kill this dude. Really?
Yeah. I remember, I ain't even gonna say his name, but one of the homies we went to elementary with, man, we seen him, I think we was like 10th grade, and he popped up at Gary, and it was me, you, Glenn, it was a handful of us all walking to class, and we seen him, and we said, what's up? But he walking with all the cholos, and he didn't want to speak, and I said, man, quit acting like you didn't kick it with us in elementary, and we used to always protect you from getting your ass kicked. I was like, homie, you tripping. And then they all look back like, what? Bro, y'all really, and what's crazy is half of them really wasn't even from 12th Street, bro.
Yeah, they weren't even about that, man.
They was just claiming that shit just to fit in, because that same person, I found out somebody, an OG, checked him one day because one of the cheerleaders, her father was an OG from 12th Street.
Got it.
And old boy was coming around the house, and he was like, and he said something about the set. Pops walks out the house and was like, what'd you say? You ain't from 12th Street. He said, I don't recall putting you on the set, little boy. He said, so I think you need to keep that out your mouth. He said, if I hear you say it again, it's going to be a problem. He was like, you ain't from nowhere. He was like, get that shit straight. I don't care what you're doing at that school, but you ain't from here. So stop. And I fell out. I was like, wow. I started laughing because when I found out, I was like, oh, so I said, so half these were okay. Yeah. There was a handful that was putting in work, but most of them was just claiming the set because they had to fit in or get in. You know, to get in where they fit in. Yeah. And with us, it was weird because at Gary, the football team was a gang because everybody kind of knew not to mess with us. Like, leave them dudes on this football team, bro. Leave them alone. Yeah. Because it's black, Mexican, everybody. You know. Yeah. Like, you wasn't gonna mess, because as far as we was concerned, we was brothers, so you ain't gonna mess with us. None of us, homie. Nah, it's not going down like that. So they kind of left us alone. No, they did. For the most part. You know what I mean? They kind of knew. They was like, nah, they them football players, they crazy. They'll pull you in the locker room. Yeah. Put your ass in that locker room and shut off the lights and be like, catch this. Right. And then as soon as you open that door, you get that crack of light now. Go talk some more shit about the football team, see what happened next time. Go about your business, leave us alone. You know what I mean? So they kind of knew.
Man. Yeah. So that's those experiences, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they were. They were.
Man, and the thing of it is, man, it's just we're here. You know what I mean? I think the thing we're making a larger difference on a bigger scale. And I think right now, man, we just got to infuse this into these school systems, man, so that these kids get it and so they understand, man. And so what you guys are doing is very, very powerful, man. And I need to get you guys the sizes, man. I need to get you guys sizes. And when we're done with this, man, send me your email, because I'm gonna send you guys the sweatshirts, man. Send me your sizes.
Right on, bro.
I'm gonna hook you guys up, man. I'm gonna hook you guys up, man.
Because when I first seen it when I seen it the first time, I was like, well, actually, when I peeped the podcast, when you told me about the podcast, I was like, man, that's a nice cover he got right there. That's kind of clean. I was like, I like that. So man, that's
I'm gonna hook you up, man. So just I'm gonna put them in the mail. Just send me your addresses, man. I'm gonna put them in the mail.
Sure.
And then, man, we gonna go from there, man. But I appreciate you guys, man. Man, this is love, man. I appreciate you, man, and promoting and everything, man. And I wanna get on here again, man, because I want to get my boy, man, Dr. Funches on here, man. He's a black male. He works in San Bernardino, and he's a assistant soup of HR over there, man. And so there's some, and if you guys want to, me and him can get on here, man. You can ask some questions, man, about how he handling things in San Bernardino, man, what his trajectory is, and how he's trying to do some things as well. So me and him gonna get together, man, and try to create some huge things, man, for us. So man, next time. So we on
board with it.
Yeah,
we on board with it, definitely, bro. The more the merrier, man. Like, this is a platform for people to put it out there,
Yeah,
Dr. Rice,
yes, sir.
About the book, real quick. When you said this month it's going to be dropping, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that hardback? Is it going to be digital? Like, how are we?
It's going to be both. It's going to be digital and it's going to be hardback. So it's going to be on Amazon. So you can get it on Amazon. I'm already dialed in on Amazon, and as soon as it drops, it's going to drop on Amazon. And then what I'll do also is I'll send you guys the link, and if you guys can just put it out there for me, that way some brothers and sisters can buy it, and that way we can help promote each other, man. And I appreciate that, man. So as soon as it drops, I'm gonna send it to you guys, and I'm gonna have I think I'm gonna have like a signing party and things like that, man. But I know, we can do something, man, so that we can do it virtually or however we're gonna do it, man. Right. So we can do this huge, man.
Yeah. Okay. We with it. We with it, man.
All right. Yeah. All right, my man.
Yeah. All right, bro. Hold on for one sec.
Okay.
We want to first off, thank you for coming on again, man. We really appreciate it, man. This was another good conversation, bro. And I wish there was more people out there like you, bro, doing what you do. Yeah. I know they are, but we gotta pull them to the forefront. Right. You know what I mean? That's how. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen for sure. Yeah. So for Unfiltered Convos, man, I'm Thing One. You know who that is? Yes, sir. That's Dr. Rice, the color of leadership, dropping Black History Month. Y'all tap in, and we'll catch y'all next time.
All right, my man. Deuces.
Ooh, D, bro, man. It's not enough time to keep Dr. Rice on here, man, with his schedule. But the dude is very full of knowledge and wisdom and inspiration. Man, I definitely we're gonna have to have him back again and again and again. Not just when the book drops, but just with other stuff that's going on, bro, because he stays busy, as we all know. So definitely, man, it's been a blessing. And Dr. Rice, keep doing what you're doing, man. Any support that you need, bro. I know I'm there. I know D is there. And definitely tap into us so that way we can make sure and put it out to many people that we can bless as well. So, D, man, that was powerful, bro. Powerful.
Definitely. Pomona, stand up. Boy, they said we wasn't going to be shit. Yeah, we flexing on y'all. What? Yeah. Naysayers and doubters. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? People from bad situations can do good things.
Yep.
You just got to give them the opportunity and have some confidence and belief in them so that they believe in themselves, man. And that's what it's all about. And I see that in Dr. Rice. I mean, he putting it out there like the man cares. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you stay in. Well, how can you stay in a career field so long if you don't care? You know what I mean? I know we have those educators out there that are just, I'm just here to be here. But yeah, and that's the problem. That's a big part of the problem. You gotta, have some passion about whatever career field you're going into. And if you don't have that passion, you shouldn't be doing it. Like, just put the ball down and walk away, But yeah, man, this was a great show. I can't wait to have him back. I'm sure he's going to have more in store. He's always doing something, man. He keeps it moving and grooving. I know he's got a couple side businesses. We can always, tap into that and, and have more unfiltered convos and push this color of leadership, bro, because it's very important for the community and for the youth.
How important it is, man. It's something that's needed across the board in all aspects. I know he talked about it because of his experiences. It's in education and in sports. But man, I know you've seen it as well as I, just in every day in the military and regular jobs. You know, when you start to get into that, like I said, being a manager and you're looking around and what he said resonated when you say, man, it's just, I'm the only one in the room. You know what I mean? You look around and you really feel like that. The true elephant in the room syndrome is you in there and you get questioned as, oh, you're that person, or what are you bringing to the table? Like he says, oh, you're the principal, just because of the way he looks and he rocks his swag or whatever. But when you hear him talk and he articulates and his credentials and accolades and his experiences, that goes out the window. But it's unfortunately, that we get looked at by, quote unquote, and no pun intended, but by the book cover. You know what I'm saying? And that's how a lot of the times we're gauged of individuals of color, and even among each other. So it's a lot of good qualities that he's bringing out in that book for people to have a different side or a mentality or an outlook on or overview of. And man, the schools that he's been touched have been blessed to have him, bro.
Definitely.
Like he's done so much for those those curriculums, just for the way that they operate. And I know, he's definitely one of those that I wouldn't mind having my son go to one of his schools that he's involved with, because it seems like he would listen. He wants to find out the root of situations and attack it there, more or less than just, okay, this is the outcome and this is the way we're going to deal with it. So kids, he said it best. These kids, they want to have a voice. And a lot of times we mute them and we muffle those voices. And that's something that we all got to understand as parents, as educators, as, even authorities. You know what I'm saying? We have to understand that. And I think that's going to bring a lot of light with this book, man. I can't wait to read it, bro.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm juiced to get my hands on a copy, man. Real talk. Yeah. But man, I guess this is going to wrap it up for another amazing Things of That Nature podcast. You know what I mean?
Here we come. And guess what? We hope celebrities to do it either, y'all.
Yeah, we got real people with real agendas, man, talking that real deal. So, those of you that out there that want a platform, need a platform, the door is open. Come on in. We'll give you a hug. You feel me? Speak your mind, Let's go. Yeah, because I know there's more out there. They just don't have a platform to put it on. So here you go. Y'all tap in. Make sure you people out there are sharing this. You know what I'm saying? Just share it. Share it with somebody, man. That's all. Spread the word, because we ain't going nowhere.
Nah, that's what we're not. Stuck with us.
Stuck with us, yeah.
Want to subscribe to it and deal with it, because it's a lot more in store, man. We're just going to get bigger. The platform started to get a lot more support, like individuals that are coming on here. You guys just don't know, man, all the feedback that we're getting from those individuals, what makes, I know myself, feel good, because that means they enjoyed the experience that they came on here. And then also once they see it in the final, episodes, that they get to also enjoy that. And it's good representation. Like I said, it's nothing against celebrities, man, but those individuals, they already got the black book numbers that they can call, and they know if they get a Cat Williams on here, it's going to make 50 million. You know what I'm saying? Views. Everybody knows that he's going to get the views whether he's on a show or not. And there's no diss, none of that at all. I'm just saying, though, like, we really organically grinding this from people that we know, people that are regular individuals, but doing some great work within the communities, and they got some good, good visions ahead. So keep on doing what you're doing, D. We're going to make this blow, bro.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And with that being said, thing one, y'all know what it is. Come on.
Two,
Things of That Nature. You owe it to yourself. Till next time. Hey, yo, what's up with it? I got to give a big shout out to my man, Dr. Anthony Rice, for the merch. Y'all go check out the episode and the book. They're probably dropping around the same time. Let's go. Appreciate you, bro.
What's good with it, y'all? Doc Madness, want to say thanks to Dr. Rice for the merch, man. Loving it, and even loving what's behind it, man. Support the book, Color of Leadership, man, hosted by Dr. Anthony Rice on his podcast and in book form. Man, stay tuned. Got more for you. Things of that nature. You owe it to yourselves, man. Support the support.
Things of that nature. Things of that nature.
DMP Sweatshop, come on, tell us what you talking about. Left Coast Kings, and you owe it to yourself.